Greetings, dear ones, and happy holidays of all sorts. I wanted to share a bit with you about this season of light. And this that you're looking at is the altar that was used for the solstice celebration or workshop that I conducted on the 21st. And many representations and symbols of the season of light. And we're actually having the benefit of 8 weeks of this season of light, starting with Diwali on November 12th this year, which is the season of light in the Hindi tradition. And there are lights lighting up walkways, lanterns in front of people's houses, down streets. It is the triumph of light over dark. And of course, in several other major traditions, that is also the case. And anciently, solstice, or the longest day of the year, was and has been celebrated for thousands of years by many tribes and cultures, given that there was always concern back in the very beginning, before people started tracking the days and the light and the dark and the stars, that there was the possibility of going into darkness and not coming out again. Not unlike what we may be observing in our outer world today. So it is really important for us to recognize both the dark and the possibility of ending up in one direction or another. And as I said, that's where we're looking right now in this point of evolution. And we each have a choice. The solstice was on December 21st, and it does astronomically become the longest night of the year. And actually, for several days before that, they're very long nights. So that was very worrisome to ancient cultures. And so we have that representation here with half of the altar covering being dark, a little bit more than half actually, and the rest being white, as well as many other symbols of the times. And we are, looking at many. I couldn't have all the different representations from countries around the world, but Germanic tribes decorated a pine or fir tree with candles and tokens. So there we have a pine tree. Ancient Egyptians and Chinese celebrated at that time of the year and thought it to be ushering in a fertile time of planting and bountiful harvests. So actually, I don't have it out here, but one of the items that did participate in the event was a fruit cake, because in times past, the winter was the coldest time of the year. Many cattle, sheep, goats, what have you, that didn't seem to be able to make it through the winter were slaughtered and their meat preserved, as well as fruits and other items from the harvests. And fruitcake was made with those dried fruits. So it's a very, very old dessert if anyone wants to kind of recognize and celebrate. Another item that we have is a beautiful little nest, handmade nest, that was gifted to me this year. And again, many of the earth-based cultures recognized and celebrated nature and the seasons and the cycles, as well as the trees that gave continuously, particularly the evergreen trees that gave continuously throughout the year. Another present representation of that is this piece of bark that appeared in my yard out of nowhere. I have no trees that I recognize that piece of bark coming from. So it was a beautiful gift from nature. We also have the dwarf and stone underneath him from Iceland for, again, in the magical, the cultures connected to magic. The time was very, very magical in this overcoming of darkness or evil or things that could cause harm. And as well, we have many different oils that came out for the celebration. The first that did pop up was, and I do this kinesthetically, so I'm not seeing the names of the oils at all, don't know where they are. My eyes are completely closed when I'm hovering over the case. And these are Young Living Therapeutic Grade Essential Oils, and the only ones that I had put on my body or in my body. And so I ask them, they are very wise and helpful beings because their life force is still there and the wisdom comes through from the plants. The first oil that did come out was one called Winter Nights, interestingly enough. We also have Christmas Spirit on tap here, and another one called White Light. Some of the traditions, of course, in the English Isles, we're very familiar with Stonehenge, and now there's large celebrations of that. And this is a stone from England. Actually, it's no longer able to be obtained in England. This came from another country, but it is the same type of stone with which some of the earliest bridges and archways for doorways was built, and it's considered a very magical stone in that its strength and stability that it represents. And we have the dwarfs here because they are in charge of the stones and minerals and metals and ores. And I don't know if we have enough sunlight for you to see that this is another representation of that which comes out of the dark in the soil, deep in the soil. And this has iron, and the other stones that are it is vanadinite, so the sparkling comes from that, but then you also see the iron ore. And it's very important to include the minerals, oils, and ores and metals in any celebration. And there's the Diwali candle right here that I was gifted at a Diwali celebration this year at the Meditation Center in Cinnaminson. And we have a representation from Sweden of their light at this time of the year. This is a traditional candelabra and candles. It was gifted to me from someone from that tradition, Sweden. We also have two Hopi Kachinas. That is the eagle Kachina, and this is the sun Kachina, because the Hopi celebrate Soyal, and it's actually a multiple week celebration where the ancients or their guides and masters, the Kachina, come down from their celestial homes and teach the people and play and work with the people. So it's a very important celebration. Again, all of this surrounding solstice. The Inca as well. This is a symbol of some of the Latin American cultures. And in others, I think it's Saturnalia in Rome, which was celebrated at that time. We have very significant was the evergreen tree, of course, and the mistletoe. Mistletoe was very much a part of that because it's another tree that stays green. And we have some of the earth-based, now considered or now named and often named pagan cultures or pagan tradition. Again, very much celebrating the earth and the cosmos. And this beautiful candle is one that was created at a solstice celebration many years ago want everyone decorated with sequins and ribbons and beads. And it's very precious, and it was lit on solstice this year, but only for a short time to preserve it. And that lightness of being is also seen in the feathers. And again, another gift this year of a painted feather with gold brilliance coming through it. And one of the two very, very powerful types of light this season is starlight. We have on the solstice, as a matter of fact, the 3 stars in Orion's belt align with Sirius, and that indicates actually where the sun will rise the following morning. And starlight is very, very powerful right now. We had the Ursid meteors. We also have our beautiful full moon on the 25th into the 26th. And fire from the sun. There was a lot of fires from the sun. There's a lot of solar flares, sorry. And this is an oil called Light the Fire Within. And on those stars, I also had the great opportunity to run to the theater late one night to see the Disney movie Wish. And starlight plays a very prominent role in that movie. It's a beautiful movie, which I would highly recommend you see. And, a reminder that we are the stuff of stars. And same constituents, same chemicals, same properties in many ways, but also we are each very individual and unique. And that's why both one heart, the oil, and one voice are here. At least that was my interpretation when they came out, as well as valor. We do need courage to speak our voice and to align with our heart and stay true to that and be in harmony with that. And of course, we have the Hanukkah lights that again proved a triumph over darkness, and the extent to which spiritual influence, spiritual assistance is available to us. So I would say in one of the best things that we can do for ourselves is to ask and work with and create and develop communication with our helpers, with calling on gods and deities and mythological figures and figures from legend that represent some of the qualities or are have expertise in areas that we want to have assistance or guidance from. And in working with a colleague this season, actually prior to that, one of the most powerful and profound energetics that we have encountered is that of diamond radiance. And I don't know whether this is a beautiful piece of glass given to me as it's a paperweight, but it's a symbolic of the diamond radiant light. I'm going to try to post a picture of that radiant light that came in through a practice with a colleague, and it's very, very powerful and can do a great deal to not merely clear things out of your system, but to assist you in radiating your own divine human light. So many other things I'd like to share, but maybe we will do so at a beginning of the year event. Please keep posted or keep looking at posts for that, and do make your own altar and create or place on it things for bringing in light and things that represent light to you, lightness of being, light enlightening, meaning that you were in the dark about something and now the light has been shown on it. So this is going to stay up because we're continuing in this season of light, with the upcoming New Year's when, there's a lot of fireworks, which is another type of light, and continuing on the season through the Epiphany or Three Kings Day on the 6th of January, which of course is represented by the beautiful North Star and the star that guided the wise men to the Christ child, and how it does still symbolize that North Star symbolizes our guiding light outside and to find that guiding light within. So I'm wishing all the most beautiful, light-filled, radiant, immersed in your own illumination, in your own illumined self. And I will see you in the coming year with much more to share and hopefully assist in transformation of whatever sort you desire. Be well, much love, in deep honor and respect and love for you all. Bye now.